Hey guys, welcome back. Since last week marked the 20th anniversary of the release of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, I decided that all this week I'm going to be discussing all the positives about that movie. Now, I know the movie gets a lot of hate, especially for the writing and the acting and maybe some of the characters. But since the mission of my channel is to bring positivity back into the fandom, that's what I'm going to be doing, and Phantom Menace is going to be no different. So today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favorite things about the movie. Starting with number 10, we get to learn a little bit about how the old Order of Jedi operate. We find out that there's a whole code, and they're usually taken in as young children, and emotional attachments are pretty much forbidden. Emotions are seen as wrong, and they need to be sort of suppressed instead of embraced because they're seen as a path to the dark side. And the Jedi are somewhat arrogant in the way they go about things. Like, okay, there's been a long peace that has made them rather complacent, so they can't see what's literally right in front of their nose, and it doesn't help that the dark side is clouding things, but more on that when I talk about episode 2. So that's really interesting. Number 9 is we get a taste of Palpatine's origin story. Now, we're still not sure what Palpatine was like as a young kid, or when he was born, or whatnot, but we get to see Palpatine as something other than the evil, cackling emperor that we've grown used to since episode 6. In this one, he not only plays Darth Sidious, who's basically the Phantom Menace and who's hiding behind the scenes and plotting to take over the Republic, but this ambitious senator from Naboo, of all places. Now, one wouldn't think someone so evil could come from a place that's so beautiful, but you know what? Life often defies your expectations in the weirdest ways. Number 8 on the list is we get to see Obi-Wan as a young Jedi. Obi-Wan, of course, we first met when he was this aging mentor to Luke Skywalker. He popped up, as Ewan McGregor said, he popped up now and again as a shadowy blue guy or a Force spirit to offer further guidance. But here we get to see him as this young, ambitious, maybe somewhat impatient, but I'd say he's pretty level-headed at this point, young Jedi about in his mid-20s or so, and he tries to play strictly by the book, but his master, we will get to later, doesn't always play by the book, and that makes for an interesting dynamic between the two of them. Number 7 on the list is we get to see 2 new planets, specifically the planet of Naboo and the planet of Coruscant. Now, Coruscant was mentioned in the old expanded universe as this big city planet, but it's the first time we actually get to see it, and it's pretty impressive. It's basically like Manhattan meets Washington, D.C. covering an entire planet, because it is the political and probably financial capital of the entire galaxy. Galactic coordinate 000, it's what basically the entire galaxy revolves around what Coruscant does. Number 6 on the list, I know I'm sort of asking for it, but Jar Jar Binks. Yes, I absolutely love Jar Jar. I've made no secret of it. The abuse leveled at Ahmed Best was inexcusable. The reason I like Jar Jar so much is I can relate to him. Growing up, I was called a freak or weird, or just, I was basically an outcast because not only was I one of the only kids in my entire church was homeschooled, in my entire neighborhood even, but I was weird because I liked Star Wars. I went against the grain with a lot of different things, so I was basically an outcast. I was clumsy. I tripped over my own feet constantly. To this day, I'm still clumsy. I'm constantly bumping my head on my ceiling. So to have someone who's incredibly clumsy and who most people don't like play a fairly important role in a Star Wars film, that's really, really nice to see, and that's why I absolutely love Jar Jar. Number 5 on the list is Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon is probably one of my favorite Jedi of the Old Order. He is something of a maverick. He doesn't follow all the rules exactly to the book, which irritates his Padawan. He has this deep, deep compassion. He has a need to help those. Basically he sees it as if the Force puts him into a situation where he can help someone, then he needs to help someone. He believes strongly not only in the Force as a power or as an energy in the galaxy that is integral to it, but as sort of an entity that has a will to be obeyed. He's unusual, but he's kind, he's quiet, he's a very good fighter. So yeah, Qui-Gon is an awesome, awesome character. He's almost a gray Jedi because he sort of walks the line in a lot of things. I cannot help but wonder what would have happened if Qui-Gon had lived and he'd been able to take Anakin on as his Padawan after Obi-Wan passed the trials. It makes me wonder if he'd been trained by Qui-Gon, would Anakin have not have turned to the dark side? Who knows? That's something for fanfiction to explore. And speaking of Anakin, he's number 4 on the list, not specifically the character of Anakin, but we finally get to find out the origin story behind Darth Vader. Now, a lot of people were like, what? This little kid who's annoyingly cute, how could he become a Dark Lord of the Sith? Well, the thing is, evil always comes from a place where you least expect it. No child is actually born evil. Either they have something mentally that goes a little bit wrong in their head, or they're influenced by their environment, and then further influenced by choices that they make. Now, honestly, I think part of the reason Anakin turned to the dark side was the Jedi were they were shoving him into the wrong shaped box, and he didn't fit. And the influence of Palpatine didn't help. But we get to find out that Anakin used to be a really, really good person. And it's very interesting to see the descent of a very sweet little boy into this agent of evil who's basically a broken man in armor who's lost everything. Number 3 on the list is costumes. Now, the costumes of Episode 1 are some of the most amazing in the entire saga. They're not like over the top like some of the, people in, say, the Casino in Canto Bight, or the opera in Revenge of the Sith, but they're amazingly elaborate. Trisha Begar, I think, is one of the greatest costume designers ever, at least for film. She did an excellent job of designing costumes. A lot of them are very complicated. It ranges from the simplicity of a Jedi to the elaborate gowns that Queen Amidala wears, and honestly, the people that tackle those and are able to be screen accurate, they are my heroes. They do amazing, amazing work. Number 2 on the list is the fight choreography. Nick Gillard, throughout the entire prequels, he did the most amazing job with making the lightsaber fighting look incredible. Yes, it was all choreographed. I mean, if a real sword fight happened, it would probably be over in 2 seconds, especially if it was a couple of masters. But still, it's amazing to look at, and it inspired so many different people to get into martial arts and lightsaber fighting. So, finally, the number 1 most awesome thing about Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace is, of course, the music. John Williams, I've said it before, I will say it again, he is an absolute genius. The musical world is very blessed to have him. He's come up with so many different brilliant film scores, and Phantom Menace is no exception. There are 5, bare minimum 5 amazing tracks in that score, which I will be talking about next time, that I absolutely love. He went from melancholy to big and action-oriented to a sad, mournful piece to this one of the most epic pieces of dueling music that was ever written and probably got played to death. But I'm going to save that for next time. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more G-rated Star Wars content, go ahead and click that little subscription button down below. Don't forget to check out the links in the description box. The question of the day is, what is your absolute favorite thing about Episode 1? Go ahead and post a comment. As always, please keep things clean, and I'm warning you right now, anybody that levels verbal abuse or any negativity toward George Lucas, Jake Lloyd, or Ahmed Best, your comments are going the way of the dodo. I will not tell you again, okay? So I'll see everybody again on Wednesday, and until then, God bless, and may the Force be with you. Bye.